All right, we're back after a few months of rest and relaxation, and Alabama had its first practice here on campus. And Michael, it was kind of a veterans in the morning, young guys in the day. I don't know if much stood out to us because this is just kind of back in the routine, but clearly it's kind of the new era is officially beginning for the 2014 season.
Yeah, no, it's interesting this evening. You don't see a whole lot from these freshmen, some of the new guys who didn't come in the fall and the spring. Some of those guys as well, but you get to see a lot of the five-star guys getting coached up. You know, they're no longer recruits. They're in there. They're kind of getting that reality check of what college football is like, and you see some of those guys, even the top guys, are getting chewed up a little bit. So it's interesting to watch.
Yeah, a couple of the half of the five stars were in the morning session because Tony Brown, Cam Robinson, they've been here since the spring, so they're kind of already feeling like veterans after a full spring. But a couple guys we saw just tonight were Sean Evans, Deshaun Hand. Those are two of the guys who, if you're going to pick some guys among this newcomer class, they're in the position to make an impact right away. And I think those two guys, if you looked at them, from just a physical standpoint, they stood out maybe a little bit more than some of the other guys around them.
Right, and we were commenting on the kind of new era of outside linebackers. Just a few years ago, you see a Courtney Upshaw, these big guys. Sean Evans, you see him, he's the 220, 225 range, you say. He's not the biggest, not the huge linebackers we're used to seeing around here. So this fast offense, you can really see how they're changing the way the defenses are looking and just the makeup of the players. So it's interesting to note that.
Yeah, specifically in the defensive line, Deshaun Hand is really big. He's a guy that, as a defensive end, if he can make a presence as a pass rusher, he can get involved in one of the rotations that Alabama likes to trot out. Another guy that stood out and who potentially has a bigger opportunity now is Josh Frazier, freshman nose guard. He checks in as the biggest guy on the team at 330 pounds. He looks like a solid 330 pounds too. And with the news this morning of 3 suspensions, all on Alabama's defense, 2 of which on the defensive line, most notably starting nose guard Brandon Ivory, that opens the door for a guy like Josh Frazier, who physically it looks ready to contribute.
He's got that size. He's got the not necessarily the Terrence Cody size in at the 354 range, but he's a big guy. He can definitely make an impact. I think everybody could hear the buzz, the reporters kind of talking about the size of Frazier, and I think he's impressing people.
While Ivory's out for however long that is, we might be seeing some new faces at that nose guard position, because this morning Darren Lake was really the only guy playing at who has nose guard experience who is out there. We've seen maybe Ashawn Robinson with some experience, but clearly his strength is probably best suited at defensive end, but he slides over there in nickel and dime. So we might be seeing a few new faces at that position, but again, big opportunities abound when suspensions happen, especially when you have a depth chart that doesn't exist right now, but the depth that Alabama has right now.
Yeah, and it's a huge position that you can't, it's overlooked quite a bit, but it kind of starts right there. If you can hold that point, you can get those two blockers on the nose guard, the whole equation goes into defensive favor. So it'll be interesting to see how that all shakes out.
We didn't lead with quarterbacks because there's really not much to say at this point. Jacob Coker, Cooper Bateman, and Blake Sims were both in the morning. We're all in the morning session. That wasn't too much of a surprise. So it's clearly those 3 and everyone else. But it doesn't seem like Nick Saban's in much of a hurry to make a decision, and he keeps stressing over and over and over again that they're going to make this a methodical process and give everyone a fair shot. So don't expect anything in the next week or 2.
Don't expect anything. I mean, if you go back to the last time, you never saw Nick Saban stand at a podium and say A.J. McCarron is going to be the starting quarterback at Alabama. It just sort of happened. So that would be sort of my projection for how this will end up. There will not be a moment. There will not be a headline. This is the starting quarterback. It's just sort of going to happen.
We're going to keep asking about it, though, throughout the rest of the preseason camp. It was a busy first day. We're ready to finish it up, and it's going to get even busier, though, as the weekend goes on. Fan Day is Sunday, and for us, we get to finally hear from Lane Kiffin.
Can't wait.